Well, today my class is on status of women under the Indian Constitution. Introduction. As we all know, the term woman denotes a female human being of any age. Women all over the world have been denied equal justice, social, economic and political, and considered as weaker sex, and they have been abused, exploited and discarded, and sometimes compelled to live an immoral life, destitute till the end of their lives. In India, the position of women is not different, as women are traditionally considered to be weak and discriminated by the other counterpart. Their existence is merely recognized to the extent of assisting the husband and help in running the family, such as to do the household chores, taking care of everyone, looking after and bringing up of the children. When there is grave family problem, very often women's voice is not considered as important, and most of the times their opinion is not considered or not accounted for by terming the voice as that of a woman. In short, the decision-making power does not lie with a woman in the presence of their male counterparts. Thus, status of women in our society remains inferior to that of a man. It would be worthwhile to go a little bit to the past to see the root of the ugly situation. During the Mughal era, the position of women was worst, as they had to comply with the parda, that is covering of the face system, which was prevailing amongst the Muslims. For the Hindus, the custom of sati was prevailing, and many women were compelled to follow the funeral of their respective husbands. The status of women during the British era was not improved as well. Some changes erupted with regard to the status of women during the freedom movement from the colonial rule in India. Amongst the freedom fighters, Mahatma Gandhi was one who openly invited women to freely come out and join the freedom movement. Many women leaders like Sarojini Naidu, etc. came forward to join the freedom movement. India's outlook towards the women community got a major change when Mrs. Indira Gandhi became the Prime Minister of India. Many women could get a chance to excel themselves in the field of sports, administration, politics, science, arts and culture, etc. However, women in general suffers from life due to many societal reasons. The society being a patriarchal one, the notion of male domineering the female counterparts seems to carry on in every household. Women may have had an independent and free from violation of rights life style at their parental home. But once they get married, the whole scenario seems to change generally, and always a major change in their lives takes place. Once very young and energetic girl is tightened up by the bondages of life, trying to save their nuptials, and have to sacrifice most of their respective wishes, taste, likings and unlikings, so as to enable to adjust with an entirely new family. The Constitution of India. It is widely known to all that the Constitution of India confers equal rights to man and woman. Though the Constitution guarantees equal rights, status and opportunity of employment to both man and woman, many women suffer various mental and physical torture from the hands of their husbands, in-laws, relatives and even from their own parents. In many parts of the states across the country, men considers their wives to be a source of income through handsome dowry, and it has been frequently published in leading newspapers about stories of selling their wives and earning money. Women are considered as objects even today, in spite of the protective laws passed by the Indian Parliament, which are meant for effective protection of the rights of women guaranteed by the Indian Constitution. The provisions which protects women under the Indian Constitution. The principle of gender equality is highlighted in the preamble, fundamental rights, fundamental duties, and the directive principles of the Indian Constitution. Equality coupled with adoptive measures to curb discrimination is granted by the Constitution to strengthen women of our country. Agendas have been framed and effectuated at different levels of development policies, plans and programs in initiation, continuation, and also for fulfillment of bringing women's advancement in different spheres of day-to-day lives. Since independence, a great many changes has been uprising over the past decades regarding the status of women in India. Reformation in the field of promotion of rights equal to that of man has been eventful in the history of women in India. The constitutional provisions which are directly related with the protection of women are Article 14, 15, 15 Clause 3, 16, 39 Clause A, 39B, 39C, and Article 42, which are of specific importance, stressing and emphasizing the rights enshrined to our Constitution in this regard. Besides these, Article 46, 47, 51A, subclause E, 243D, subclause 4, 243D, subclause 3, and Article 243D, subclause 4, provides additional rights to women for maintaining a firm stand of the woman and also for supporting the causes of women. The objects of these legal provisions are to enable them to boost their position and capable to face the harsh atrocities and to shun the discrimination and violence encountered in the domestic, public and workplaces and other circumstances. Crime against women. All forms of crimes which are directed specifically against women are termed as crime against women, which can be broadly classified under the following two categories. Category 1, the crimes identified under the Indian Penal Code, that is IPC. For instance, rape under Section 376 IPC, kidnapping and abduction under Section 363 to 373 of IPC, homicide for dowry, dowry dates or life attempts 302, 304 IPC, torture, physical and mental under Section 498 IPC, molestation Section 354 IPC, sexual harassment Section 509 IPC, importation of girl child up to 21 years of age, etc. The power to make special laws under the Indian Constitution. Our Constitution not only guarantees equality of rights to women, but also empowers the state to make laws to safeguard the weaker sections, to avoid discrimination. Besides the Indian Penal Code, there are also various special laws which deals with crimes against women. In fact, these special laws are demanded due to the need of the situation and circumstances. As such, they came into existence through judicial process. It may be reminded that all laws are not gender specific. However, provisions of law affecting women significantly have been reviewed periodically and amendments were carried out to keep pace with the emerging requirements and a changing situation. Some acts which have special provisions to safeguard women and their interests are the Employees State Insurance Act 1948, the Plantation Labor Act 1951, the Family Courts Act 1954, the Special Marriage Act 1954, the Hindu Marriage Act 1955, the Hindu Succession Act 1956 with amendment in 2005, the Immoral Traffic Prevention Act 1956, the Maternity Benefit Act 1961 which was amended in 1955, Dowry Prohibition Act 1961, the Medical Termination of Pregnancy Act 1971, the Contract Labor Regulation and Abolition Act 1976, the Equal Remuneration Act 1976, the Prohibition of Child Marriage Act 2006, the Criminal Law Amendment Act 1983, Indecent Representation of Women Prohibition Act 1986, Commission of Sati Prevention Act 1987, the Protection of Women from Domestic Violence Act 2005, Sexual Harassment of Women at Workplace Prevention, Prohibition and Redressal Act 2013. India in the international arena. India, in her international capacity as a sovereign state, had also ratified various international conventions and human rights mechanisms with a determination and a commitment to protect rights of women. Important amendments made in consonance with the Convention on Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women, which is known as CEDAW, in 1993 is of vital significance. India also had ratified many international human rights instruments that were committing to secure equal rights, equal justice for the women community. The Constitution further adopts states to provide law or measure to secure the socio-economic rights, educational rights, political rights, cultural rights, apart from equality before the law and equal protection by the law. The country further provides constitutional recognition to prohibit any form of discrimination on the ground of race, religion, sex, caste, place of birth, and provides for equality of opportunity in matters of employment by way of providing specific provisions in the Constitution. Among all these supportive factors earned by the country through various enactments, legislation with an aim to achieve escalation free from social stigma and removal of evil mentality from the society towards women, India still preserves a place of demeaning as what she has realized so far is only to opposition to the rear podium. Recent Reds event at the capital city of India, where a young girl of 23 years old student was brutally gang raped and inhumanly killed as a consequence of the very woeful act, has brought focus on the world. Even the UN spoke up protesting it. The judiciary and the government took a stand and constituted the Justice Burma Committee on December 23, 2012, headed by former Supreme Court Judge Justice J.S. Verma. All these curbing measures to eradicate such social evils are formulated and put to function. Nonetheless, we see grimmer face of it. Legal provisions to uphold the constitutional mandates. The Constitution is not a mere law, but it is the machinery for which laws are made. The Constitution is a living document, and being supreme to all the other instruments, it has the greatest claim, and as such, it is to be construed broadly and liberally. India has committed by enacting various legislation measures to ensure equal rights, to combat various social discrimination, violence and atrocities, and to provide support services, especially to working women. Any form of crimes such as murder, rape, cheating, robbery, which are directed specifically to the women's sections, are characterized as crime against women. Mention may be made that female infanticide amounts to violation of Article 21 of the Indian Constitution. Special steps to protect women's rights. The National Commission for Women, the Government of India, way back in the year 1992, had set up a National Commission for Women, which is a statutory body with an aim to monitor and study with all matters relating to constitutional and the legal safeguards providing for women, and also to review the existing law and to make suggestions for amendments, modifications to make them more responsive. The 73rd Amendment Act of 1992 of the Constitution provided to ensure 1/3 of the total seats for women in all elected offices in local self-government, both in rural and urban areas. The same has been incorporated under Article 243, Clause 3. Conclusion. In all the aspects of life, women face discrimination, yet she emerges making her